mascara on my eyelid. Ah! Oh dear. And it's just taken off my eyeshadow. Fantastic. Good morning, happy Monday. How are you? I hope you're well. Let's just replace that eyeshadow. Okay. Just finishing off getting ready. Yeah, just finishing off getting ready for the day. Bish bash bosh, and we're ready. It's 10 to 9, so my first class is at 9 o'clock. Should I brush my hair or should I leave it? You know when you've curled it like the day before, so it's still got the waves in, so you kind of want to leave it for a bit longer. Like, I will brush it out, but once it starts to look a bit messy, but then it kind of looks a bit messy now. But you know when it kind of looks messy, but it's like effortless messy, if you know what I mean. I don't know, I feel like I can get away with it for now. I definitely will need to brush it out tomorrow because it will probably be a bit more like everywhere, you know. Mirror off. Look at that sky, isn't it gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. Couple of clouds in the sky, but that's all right. Gives it a bit of dynamic, you know. A blue sky, oh, stunning, honestly. The other day it was a really nice bright blue sky and I had a spare like 15 minutes because my class just started a little bit later, and I was just sitting on the sofa just staring at the sky. It was almost like a meditative moment, you know, and I was just looking because it was bright blue. Like, it's not that bright today. Like, it's a gorgeous blue sky, don't get me wrong, but the other day it was like completely like a wash of blue. You could not see a single cloud in the sky, and I was just looking at it, just staring at it, and I had 15 minutes spare before my class, and I was just appreciating how gorgeous it is. Like, nature just grounds me, you know. If I'm ever feeling a little bit anxious, or if I'm just feeling a bit like worrying about silly things, all I need to do is look up at the sky, look up at the trees, you know, and just appreciate how beautiful the world we live in really is. You know, it's just so beautiful. Anyway, it's 8:52, so I need to get set up for teaching.
Just text, I know it's a toss up, but I hate the fact that we lost touch. Ayy, the Uber pulling up on call. Tell me, is you trying to fall through? I'ma leave it up to you. What you wanna do? Look, I'm trying to spend this time with you. Know we overdue. What you doing right now? Baby, won't you swing my way? It's been a day and I've been thinking out loud. I know I want you. Long time since the last time. Got a tab, we could run up. Knew you from the way, now we grown up. My look, yeah, made the realest ones nervous. But if you want it, tap in. I think that I know somewhere that we could go to crash land. We could keep it.
Hello. So we have here this picture. What can you see in the picture?
She is reading book.
Yes, she is reading a book. Great. And how do you think she feels?
I think she is a little scared.
Yes. Good. Maybe she is a little scared. Great. And sometimes when we read a book, we might feel scared. We might feel sad. Do you like to read scary books?
No.
Me too. I don't like scary books at all. But some people do, and that's okay. Everyone is different. What is your favourite kind of book?
한번 내 거 남겨. I like fantasy and romance.
Oh,
And
fantasy.
School story.
Plot. What is the plot?
Look, a series of events that from the story in a book, movie. The plot of this book is so exciting. I can't wait to see what will happen.
How does the boy feel about the book? How does he feel? He's like, oh,
He is a little surprised. Wow, amazing.
good, great, yes, he is surprised, very surprised. When I read Harry Potter and I read that Snape was actually a hero and had been looking after Harry for all of these years, I was surprised too. I was like, oh, Snape is good? Wow.
Me too. The Snape was very scary person, but he was just kind.
Take these earplugs out. So I've just finished a couple of classes and I really enjoyed one of the classes that I just had. It wasn't the class that you just saw me vlog. Not that I didn't enjoy that class, it was fine, but I had one class in particular that I did really enjoy. I love that this student is like so responsive. With any language, the goal of it is to be fluent in it, in that you can have a conversation with someone. And it's really intimidating, it's really difficult learning another language. So hats off to students learning. But there are the students, I'm sure you have them too, if you're an online English teacher or if you're a teacher in general, you know those students that just like can't be bothered and just will give you the shortest, most easiest answer because they just don't want to be involved in the lesson, so they will just say as little as possible. So it's really like pulling teeth. You do get those students obviously, but when you get the students that are happy to be there, that are just there for the ride, that will speak with you and it doesn't feel like you're having to extract every teeny tiny bit out of them. Like when it just feels like it's flowing and it's natural, like that is the best kind of lesson, because the time goes so quickly and like you just feel like the day is flying by. So nice when that happens. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, oh, I absolutely love it. It just gives me so much energy and I just feel good, you know? Like, I feel like I'm actually helping the student with something and they're actually gaining something from the class. I also really enjoy learning about the differences in cultures and how it is in Japan compared to how it is in England. Like, I really love hearing all of the cultural differences. And like, there's so much to talk about when it comes to that, but only if the student wants to talk about that, obviously. So in one of the classes, my student Luna was telling me that in Japan, their toilets apparently are really high tech and like amazing toilets compared to what we have in the UK. So we were talking about, you know, differences in like shopping malls, shopping centres in Japan and England. And I can't remember how we got into the conversation, but I mentioned that in our grocery shops, in our supermarkets, we have clothes and shoes and accessories and makeup, and we can buy these things from our supermarkets where we buy food. And my student was like, oh wow, she was like, okay. So she was like, I know you're not in America, but she said, is that a bit like Target in America? And I was like, yeah, exactly, that kind of thing. But I said to her that, you know, Target is obviously absolutely huge and our shops are not as big in the UK as they are in America, but I said it's like a similar kind of vibe. And she was really interested, and she was like, oh yeah, that's cool, because in Japan you only buy usually groceries from the supermarkets. You don't usually buy clothes and makeup, and so yeah, that was interesting. And then I was saying to her how I would love to visit Japan one day and like have a vacation, have a holiday there, because it's just such a cool place, and I feel like Japan has so much in terms of technology and are very advanced in their technology, and like it's a whole new world kind of thing. And she was saying that, yeah, like that she was kind of used to it. And I said to her, like, what do you think is the most cool thing about living in Japan? Or like, what is one really interesting thing about the way you do things? And she said, the toilets. She said, the toilets in Japan are a real treat. She didn't say those words exactly. She didn't say the toilets are a real treat, but basically she said they were great. And I was like, really? Not expecting her to say that, thinking she was going to say like, you know, the food, sushi, mochi ice cream, I don't know, or the culture or something, but the toilets. I was really intrigued. She said they're called Toto toilets, and we had a look on Google together because I needed to see what they looked like. And oh my gosh, the toilets in Japan are completely different to the toilets in the UK. Let me show you what it looks like on Google first of all, so you can see what I mean. And I said to her that our toilets in the UK are basically like this, you know, bog standard toilet, that's it. Her toilets in Japan have all of these buttons and all of these functions. Dryer, I'm sorry, there's a dryer. There's a pressure, like you can change the positioning of the toilet. This toilet here has a spray, a bidet, music as well, and you can change all of the buttons with that. It's just like, what is this? Toilets with all of these different functions. Wow. I can't believe that that is just a standard toilet in Japan. And my student was saying that she has that toilet in her house. Like that is just the standard toilet. And she said if you go to any shopping mall, shopping centre, anywhere in Japan, those are the toilets that you see. There's even like a button that you can press for music. And I was like, what? So you can play Taylor Swift while you're on the toilet kind of thing? And she was like, no, not quite that far. But she was like, yeah, we do have music on our toilets. What? And then she said as well that they have heated seats on their toilets and you can adjust the temperature, how hot you want it. What? I said to her, our toilets are just cold, hard toilets. I said, sometimes it feels like my toilet seat has been in the fridge. I think it's incredible. I know it's just a toilet seat, so you're probably thinking, June, you are so easily pleased, but come on now. A toilet seat that has all of these functions, is that not just mind-blowing to you? Is that not just so cool? Honestly, wow. I had a bit of a longer break today because a student cancelled, so I've still got some time actually to drink some coffee. I think I'm going to read a bit of my book. I really should not be enjoying having like breaks where students randomly cancel. I mean, I don't enjoy it because it means that I have less money in my account, which is not great, but I do really appreciate the extra time. I should really like rejig my schedule around, or I would absolutely love to like not do 5 days a week, but it's just not really a possibility at the moment financially. Maybe in the future, yeah, definitely in the future, I can see myself maybe doing like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday, and then like maybe doing a bit of something else as well, so that it's not just online teaching all the time. I do feel like when it is every single day, well, it's not every single day because it's Monday to Friday, but when it's 5 days a week, it's quite intense and it's for most of the day and it's just very tiring. And I would benefit from just having a bit of variety in my schedule, you know, just doing something a bit different. So yeah, one day the plan is to reduce my schedule and put something else in place of it. So like I said, teaching Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then maybe Thursday, Friday, some other job. Who knows what that is? I don't know yet, but I don't know, something like that. Anywho, yeah, let's get a coffee. Let's get a coffee and read some of my book.
Whenever you're down, out in the cold, faithless and dark, your story's untold. Come take my hand and walk there with me. I know a place where we can be free. There is a light shining for you, guiding your way, helping you through. And shadows and gloom are all that you see.
Just taking a moment to enjoy and appreciate this peace right now, this quiet. I can't hear any of that, which is just lovely. I've mentioned it before, I think, in a couple of vlogs, but basically I live in a flat, in an apartment. The soundproofing is really bad, and I don't believe that it's my neighbours being noisy. It's just the fact that the way the flat was made, they just did not do anything with the soundproofing. It really sounds like I am living with people at times. Like, I can hear my neighbours cough, I can hear them sneeze, I can hear them talk, I can hear my neighbours draw the blinds in the morning. Like, you can hear lots of little sounds that you wouldn't often hear in an apartment that had better soundproofing. Like, obviously you're always going to hear neighbours to a certain extent, I know, but it is to the point where, like, I can hear exactly which room my neighbours are in, and footsteps, and it's just very annoying. So I'm appreciating and enjoying this peace that I have now, because I think in 2 weeks' time it's going to be the summer holidays. But that means that my neighbours who are above me upstairs will be home for the whole 7 weeks, or however long the summer holidays are, and I will be hearing everything. Luckily, I do have earplugs, I do have headphones, and I probably will be using my earplugs a lot in the next couple of weeks or so. So yeah, over the course of August, if I am a bit agitated, if I am perhaps not my usual self, if I seem a little bit distracted, it's probably because I am just finding it a bit all too consuming with, like, noise. If I'm in a place where there's supposed to be noise, you know, like busy supermarket, party, things like that, like, noise is expected, so, you know, it is what it is. But if I'm at home and it's noisy, I just find it impossible to function. I think as well, because I work from home, it just makes it so much harder, and I find teaching like so difficult. The earplugs help so much, and I'm so grateful for them, because oh my god, they have changed my life. They really have changed my life. Anyway, I feel like I've rambled a lot. Yeah, I've rambled a lot. I've been given an extra long break, so that means I've done lots of extra chit-chatting and talking, but hey ho. Well, I'm going to read my book now for like 10 minutes.
Your heart, keep it in your pocket for safekeeping. Don't ever let nobody be the reason you throw it out. You stop caring about it.
had a message to say that I am £10 and 64 pence overdrawn on my bank account, which is fantastic. Like, it's just the kind of message that you want to see, you know? I'm hoping that my book is still going to come, because I ordered a book on Amazon to come for today, and I'm hoping that that transaction went through. Just one of those things, isn't it? I don't have any credit cards. I don't have even, like, what's it called, overdraft on my bank account. I don't have anything like that. I probably should get some form of a credit card just to kind of build up my credit score. I mean, I pay rent and I have like a phone contract and, you know, other little things like that. So I know that that contributes towards your credit score, but I know that having like a credit card is really good, because especially if I want to get a mortgage in the future, building up my credit score is important. But yeah, as you can tell, being an online ESL teacher is really big money. I make so much, I am rolling in it. And yeah, obviously not. But then again, nobody does online ESL teaching for the money. Nobody. Like, you just don't. I'm so confused. I had a message not long ago from a student's parents saying, since Ji-Wan, who is scheduled for class at 9:30, is sick today, can we switch to Ji-Young Lee's class tomorrow? And then I said, hello, I'm so sorry, Ji-Wan is feeling sick. I hope he feels better soon. Yes, of course, feel free to cancel today's class and reschedule. They said, instead of cancelling, I want to switch to Ji-Young Lee's 9:15 class tomorrow. I want to teach Ji-Young Lee today and Ji-Wan Lee to teach tomorrow. I don't understand. I'm confused. I don't understand. So she messaged me saying that he was sick, but she doesn't want to cancel. I don't know. So I have a feeling that this student just isn't going to turn up, and I'll just be sitting there wasting my time for 10 minutes. I don't understand why she can't just cancel, unless we've got cross wires somewhere and she's not saying she wants to cancel. She's just letting me know that he's sick, just so I know, but he's still coming to class. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand. Yeah. I don't know. So we'll see whether this student turns up or not. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. That student did turn up in the end. Well, it wasn't actually the student, it was the student's sister. So I have classes with this student and his sister. So his sister just did his class instead. So I think that's what the mum was trying to tell me in the messages. So I did end up having that class, which is good, because especially when we're getting text messages saying that our account is overdrawn, we need to get all the classes that we can. Woohoo! But I finished for the day. So teaching is done and dusted. We're done. We're done, we're done, we're done. We're done, we're done. Teaching is finished. Teaching is done. Teaching is finished. Woo, 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 woo. Teaching is finished. Teaching is done. Teaching is finished. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah. It's dinner time for this one, by the looks of it. What are you munching on there? Oh, look at his little cheeks. Or her little cheeks. Ah, is that yummy? Is that nice? Oh, animals and nature are just incredible things that we have in this world, aren't they? Like, when I'm around animals, I feel so calm. And when I'm around nature, I feel so calm as well. I think that if I have animals and nature in my life, I am just automatically a very, very happy girl.
You were beautiful, just like a flower.
Let's talk about books, baby. Go from books from A to Z. Let's talk about funny stories, book reviews, and atomic habits, and the power of now. Let's talk about books. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, a guide to spiritual enlightenment. The power of now can transform your thinking. The result, more joy right now. So this book I read a couple of weeks ago maybe, and I did enjoy the first maybe 100 or so pages of it, and then the rest of it I wasn't too sure on, but I still enjoy the first 100 pages so much, so I would still recommend it. It's basically just talking about how now is the only time that we have. The present is everything we need, and how thinking too much about the past and the future, how it can affect us negatively, which makes a lot of sense, talking about how we often live our lives with the past in mind so much, and the present just kind of gets lost, and then we end up becoming really anxious and yada yada yada. So I really liked the message, and definitely the first like 15 pages that I read, I was like, wow, that is so amazing. Like, I found it very thought-provoking, and then as it went on into the book, I did kind of get a bit lost. I felt like everything that needed to be said was already said within the first 100 pages. I felt like the author was sometimes a bit condescending, like a slight undertone of, I am saying this and this is correct, and if you don't agree with me or if you don't see my way, then you are wrong. I don't know, maybe that's just me being oversensitive, but I don't like it when an author is kind of like, I am up here and you are down there kind of thing. I like it when, you know, you're both on the same level, or where you're teaching me something but you're not making me feel like I'm stupid. But that's a very personal kind of thing. Some people might not even notice that. Some people might like more of a kind of tough approach or whatever. But it is still a good book, like I said. The first 100 pages really do hit home. And then I read Funny Story by Emily Henry. I've really, really, really enjoyed this book. It was absolutely fantastic. There is a girl called Daphne, and she finds out that her fiance is cheating on her and is leaving her for his female best friend. And she ends up moving in with her ex-fiance's best friend's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. It's a bit complicated when I say it out loud. Maybe it's just the way I'm saying it. It sounds like such a minefield when I say it out loud, but yeah. And his name is Miles. And they're complete opposites. They both have not really that much in common, so it seems they have completely different lifestyles. You're reading the book and you're thinking, oh, this is great, like, this is funny, and then all of a sudden you kind of get hooked into the story because the author gives some depth to the characters and swings in some stories that make you think like, oh wow, that kind of tug on your heartstrings. And you know, like those stories that you think it's just going to be a light-hearted kind of book. Like, yeah, I just really like the way that the characters had a great layer of depth to them. It was a really beautiful story. It was a really beautiful story, and it was funny. Like, I had times where I was laughing out loud. I cried at the very end of it, not like bawling my eyes out, but shed a couple of tears because I was like, that was a good book. And I was kind of touched at reading this story, and I was like thankful that I had read it. Really enjoyed that. Loved this, absolutely. absolutely loved Funny Story. I just finished reading Atomic Habits today. Atomic Habits by James Clear. I'm sure you have heard of this because it is very popular. Everyone bangs on about it, and for good reason, I think. I think it is definitely worth the hype. It basically talks through how the little things that we do consistently on a regular basis, how much impact they have, and how it's not about doing like really big monumental things. It's just about doing those teeny tiny habits like every day and how they stack up to make the bigger picture. Yeah, I really enjoyed reading this. It was very interesting. The one thing that I did miss about this, when I read The Power of Now, I missed that there weren't many, like, not scientific references, but like, I don't know, I kind of enjoy when I'm reading, especially like a self-development book, I really enjoy hearing where those references come from, and I enjoy hearing like the studies behind them, because it's nice to hear the data, isn't it? I really enjoyed that there was enough in Atomic Habits for me that had that. But I do personally love like a mixture of spirituality with science. So I did love that this had some references in. It was very interesting. And James talks about how it's not the fact that we don't have motivation, or it's not the fact that we're just weak. It's just that we don't have good systems in place. And I'm currently reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I am nearly through this. How many pages have I got into it? I'm 240 pages in so far, so I'm over halfway. I've just got a little bit left. And again, I'm really enjoying it. Nora is a literary agent, and she meets Charlie, who is an editor. They kind of meet up while Nora is on a holiday or a vacation with her sister, who is soon to give birth. And her sister is very frazzled, burnt out. Her sister is a mum of one already and is about to have a second child. So her sister wants to go on this girls' trip to like let loose and kind of, you know, refresh herself. And Nora is very much a girl boss. She's hardworking. She puts work before anything. She lives in New York. She is all about being productive. So yeah, and like I said, she meets Charlie, who is an editor, and he is actually very similar to her. Sometimes, you know, when you have a book and like the two characters are often like opposites, like in Funny Story, but these two characters, the love interests, are very similar. They've both got a very, like, they've got great banter. Like, as I was reading this, as I have been reading this, I have laughed so many times because the banter is just so good between them. Like, they have a really great chemistry. Oh, there's a really beautiful speech where Charlie is basically talking about all of the things that are great about Nora, and it's just so beautiful because you can really tell how thoughtful and how observant Charlie is, and how much Nora means to him. It's just really, it's beautiful. Like, as I was reading it, I was like, oh, that is so cute. And that's what we all want, isn't it? We all want someone who's gonna see the things about us that we perhaps don't see. It's just the best thing ever when somebody understands you, when you feel like you don't have to explain yourself and you can just be yourself, and you and your person are just so in sync with each other that you just, you know, you don't even have to like say anything, you just know what the other person is thinking. Charlie has that with Nora, and they both just really get each other. So that was so beautiful. So yeah, books are basically life, and they just enrich my life so much more. I'm so thankful. They honestly just make life that much better. Like, there's nothing better than a good book, you know? Nothing better. Oh my gosh.
You didn't have to do any of that. I wanted to do it. There we go.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean?
poor Uma and poor Mimi, because the ones that they're coupled up with, Will and Io, have just disrespected them, gone off with other girls. If you watch Love Island, you'll know what I mean. It's all happening right now. Yeah, it's all going down. All the drama. Just thinking, I've not replied to a parent's message on Camberley about classes. I kind of can't be bothered to do it now. Especially because I've like finished teaching. So, you know, when you finish work and you're just like not in work mode, so you just don't want to do anything to do with work. Like, I don't really want to think about teaching at the moment. But I probably should reply because she sent that on Friday and I didn't want to look at it over the weekend because I was like, it's the weekend, I'm not replying now, so I should probably do it now, shouldn't I? But then again, I could do it tomorrow. It's a bit naughty though, isn't it? I should reply now. Let me just reply now.
That is what my heart says. That's what my heart says. I wanna be with you always. You are my world in every place.
Okay, so I've replied to any messages from parents that I needed to, and I've also just sorted out some of my lesson schedule and, you know, sent students repeating lessons and things like that. I think I'm gonna pop in my earplugs because I can hear my neighbours and I'm getting a little bit distracted, you know. But it's okay. Earplugs are my saviour. Earplugs and books, like what would I do without both of those things? Earplugs and books. Quiet resumes. Quiet resumes. Guess he's got more books. I just had an Amazon delivery. These just came through the letterbox. Let's open these babies up. So I've got another Emily Henry book. This one is Beach Read. Let's read the blurb. January is a hopeless romantic who narrates her life like she's the lead in a blockbuster movie. Gus is a serious, literary type who thinks true love is a fairy tale. But January and Gus have more in common than you think. They're both broke, they have crippling writer's block, and they need to write bestsellers before summer ends. Oh, that sounds fun. So the female character, her name is January. I've never heard of anyone called January before. I've heard of an April. I've heard of a May. My great grandmother was actually called May. Fun fact. Her name was Nanny May. Obviously I'm June, but I've never heard of a January. So that's a first. How to Do the Work draws on the latest research from both scientific studies and healing modalities, as well as Dr. LaPera's personal and clinical experience. She helps us recognise how adverse experiences and trauma in childhood live with us, keeping us stuck in cyclical patterns of self-sabotaging behaviour that leave us unhappy, unfulfilled and unwell. In her long-awaited book, Dr. LaPera offers the support and tools that allow us to break free from destructive behaviours to reclaim and recreate our lives. This is a celebration of empowerment that will forever change the way we approach mental wellness and self-care. So I'm excited to read this. I really like reading like self-development books in the daytime because I feel like my mind is kind of craving knowledge and I'm just in the mindset of like, oh, I want to learn something new, you know? And then as the day goes on, usually in the evening, that's when I'm like, I just want to lose my mind in something that is fun and like a great story, and I want to be swept away to another world in a book. Just waiting for the microwave to beep any second now. 4, 3, 2, 1. Rice is all done. I'm just making dinner, just finished the rice, and I'm gonna have it with rice. I'm gonna have it with mince and broccoli, so I'm very excited for that. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and finish the vlog here. Thank you so much for keeping me company today. Thank you for spending the day with me, and I will see you next Wednesday. Goodbye.